In this Go Bytes, we're going to have a look at pointers as receivers in Go. And so now that we've used pointers as function parameters, this one should make a lot of sense because it works pretty much the same way. We are able to pass a pointer as a receiver, and therefore we are able to update original values in memory rather than updating copies. And so the use cases will be the same. We can allow methods to modify the receiver's fields. We can avoid unnecessary copying of large structs. We can ensure consistent method sets for a type, and we can write types that behave like objects with updatable state. Okay, so let's demo this. I'm starting with a type called counter, which is a struct, has one field, that is value, which is an integer. And so what I'm going to have here is a method on the counter called increment, and what I want to do is I want to be able to update the actual counter which is in memory. So we need a receiver type function. This will be called increment. It's not going to return anything, but we should be able to operate on the counter. So thinking back to how we did this when we were passing pointers as function parameters, what change do I need to make to this signature here? Well, we want a pointer to the counter in order to be able to update that original value. So we simply prefix this with an asterisk. Remember what we said about structs. We don't need to do any manual dereferencing inside of the function. Once we've passed this as a pointer, then we're able to go ahead and just start modifying the values on that original struct in memory. So here, to increment something, I can't remember if I've ever covered how to increment things using the ++ syntax, but it's pretty much the same in every language. What you do is you can just append ++ on the end of there, and what that will do is it will take the counter value and increment it by 1. Okay, so now let's go and use this. What I'm going to do, just going to initialize a counter with a value of 5. And then what we can do is we can call increment on that counter. So C, using the dot syntax, increment. And then what we want to do is just print out the value on C and see if that has been incremented. So we're just going to do a print line and we'll prefix the value with the word counter. So let's think about what's happening here. We've initialized our counter. We have an increment method on that counter, but it's actually using a pointer as the receiver, which means we should be able to work on that original value. So that means that when we increment value, it is actually incrementing this original rather than a copy. And so therefore, when we go and print it out here, we should see that that original has been updated. So go run main.go, expecting to see a value of 6. And indeed, that's what we get. If you just want to verify this or just sanity check this for yourself to see what would happen if we weren't passing a pointer, simply delete the asterisk before counter. So we are no longer working with the pointer, we are working with a value. And then if we go and run this again, we should see that counter has not changed. It's still holding that original value. And also in the text version of the lesson, which you can find on GitHub, you'll see that I've included an example which shows value receiver versus pointer receiver side by side. So we have a value receiver and then a pointer receiver, both doing the same thing, except one is working with a pointer. Sometimes it's good to just look at these things side by side. So have a good look at that. There's usually a little bit of extra information in my text versions of these lessons anyway. Okay, time for a challenge. Now, these are going to get a little bit trickier, but as long as you've done the challenges as you worked through the previous Go Bytes, you should have no problems with these. If you don't do the challenges, then they will be actually harder. And plus, you won't really have learned anything if you're not putting into practice what I'm teaching you. So, here's the challenge. Create a type called account. So this will be a struct called account, and it will have 2 fields. Owner will be a string, balance will be a float 64, and then the account as the receiver will have two methods. The first one will be deposit, and that will take one parameter, which will be called amount, and which will be of type float 64, uses account as the pointer receiver, and what it will do, what the deposit method will do, it will add the amount which it receives to the balance on that account. And then another method, balance info, and this should return a string. This time we're going to use a value receiver, so not a pointer receiver, no asterisk. And what this will do is return a string describing the account owner and balance. So we're returning a string where part of that string will be a balance, and if you notice, that is a float 64. So you've got to do a little bit of thinking. How do you inject a float 64 into a string? So stuff that we've done previous to this. I'll let you have a think about that and work it out. Once you've done all that, in main, create an account or initialize an account, call deposit a few times, and then print the result of balance info. Then just run it using main.go. So pretty sure you can do this. Pause me now and give that a go. Okay, again with this one there's quite a lot to do, so what I'm going to do is just drop the code in there and explain it with every step. First one, nice and simple, we're creating a account struct, two fields, owner will be a string, balance float 64, easy peasy. Next what we want is a deposit method, but we're using account as a pointer receiver, so we have an asterisk here. We need a amount parameter, and what we're going to do is just increase the balance on the account by whatever amount is passed in, and we can do that using plus equals. That's a short syntax for increasing one amount by another. Okay, and then what we said was we want to have a method for just retrieving some info about the balance on the owner's account. So this time we're passing account as a value, and that's why my IDE is giving me this underlining. Typically, if you're going to have one method which passes a pointer receiver, you would do that for all, but for education purposes we're going to break the rules a bit here. Okay, now balance info needs to return a string, and then what we want to do is, and this is something we've done before, we want to return a string, but it's containing mixed types. Owner is a string, so we use %s, but balance is a float 64, and for that we use % and then the number of decimal places 0.2f. Again, we're using sprintf because that returns a value rather than printing it in place, and then we can return that value and do something with it. Okay, so that's all the setup. We have an account struct and we have two methods on there. First of all, let's initialize an account. Now we need an owner and a starting balance. Then what we're going to do is we're going to make some deposits. So we'll do that twice. So ac deposit, and we just need an amount. I'll say 50, and I'll also say 25. So remember, that took a pointer receiver, which means we are updating these original values, this original balance. So this should take it up to 175. Next, what we want to do is we just want to get some balance info. So I'm going to print this out. And inside of there, I'm going to call ac balance info. So we could have stored this in a separate variable, but for something short like this, it's okay to just inline it, pass one function call into another. So let's think about this. What do we expect to see here? We've initialized an account. We've called deposit on that account. We know that deposit works with a pointer, so we are updating that original, which means that this balance, or this original balance on the initialized account, is being updated. So when we pass that account into balance info, we should see that the balance has been increased to 175. Always just say out loud or think what you expect to see before you run the code. That shows you've got a good understanding of what your code is doing. Let's run this. Okay, Alice has a balance of 175. And you'll notice how it's formatted it here because we said we wanted 2 decimal places. And that is what this verb here does. Okay, how did you get on? Did you get the same solution as me? I think that was quite a nice challenge there because we used some of the stuff that we've done previously, as well as gaining an extra understanding of pointer receivers and value receivers. So if you enjoyed that one, make sure you give the video a like, make sure you subscribed, and remember what I said. This lesson is also up there on GitHub with a little bit of extra info and a little bit of extra examples. I'll see you in the next one.